Today, I want to show you how to make money blogging. The reason I love blogging is because blogging is an amazing way to get traffic to your affiliate links and to promote any of your own products. Blogging can help you generate thousands of super targeted visitors every single day. And once you've got that targeted traffic coming to your website every single day, you can make money from AdSense ads, and you can also make money from affiliate links that are in your blog posts. And that will generate ongoing passive income while you sleep, while you take a holiday. That money will just continue coming in. So make sure that you don't go anywhere. Make sure that you watch this all the way through to the end, because I've included every single step in a lot of detail. And by the end of this video, you will have a full knowledge of exactly what you need to do to make money blogging. Here are the three basic concepts that we should discuss before we get into the nitty-gritty of how you can become a blogger. There are three things, and that's content, traffic, and monetization. I'm going to show you step by step, but essentially content is what makes you a blogger. It's putting out your content out there. Traffic is people finding that content. And once the traffic gets onto your website, that's when you convert it into income. So this is where monetization comes into play. So let me show you a quick example here. The traffic source that I use is Google search. It's the best traffic source out there. Every day, hundreds of millions of people get onto Google and start searching different things on Google. For example, they might search most remote cities in the world. So see, and Google actually suggests that for them as well. So you can see this is a query that is quite popular, most remote cities in the world. They'll click enter, and the first result that currently comes up on Google for it is my website, travelcrog.com. So when somebody searches for this query in Google, they'll likely click one of the results from the top 10 results here on Google search results. And if it happens to be your website, then you get traffic to your website, just like what I'm getting here, travelcrog.com. As soon as somebody lands on my site, they will read the content here, and my content is actually monetized. It's monetized with Google AdSense ads. You can see this is an ad here, and there are more ads throughout the content. And if somebody clicks on one of these ads, I get paid a certain amount of money. This whole process is actually completely passive. My websites rank for a ton of different search queries. For example, another one is sharks in Bora Bora. Here, that's quite a popular search term, and my website once again is #1. So whenever someone searches for that and they get onto my website, once again, they have an opportunity to see some ads here. And a lot of the people end up clicking on these ads. And every time someone clicks on an ad, Google actually pays me a certain amount of money. Just in case you're new and you're wondering where these ads are coming from, this is called AdSense. And if you Google, you will find the information about it. Basically, Google AdSense connects advertisers with website owners. So these ads are Google is the intermediary for these ads. There are people that want to advertise on my website or on other travel websites, and all I do as the blogger, I insert a tiny bit of code into my website, and Google automatically starts showing the ads that are most relevant to the visitor. And the owner of these ads, so coralcoastdivers.com, they just tell Google, they go log into Google interface, and they tell Google that they want to advertise on certain travel websites. They pay a certain amount per click, and Google then shows the ad on my site, and I get paid a certain percentage of that ad budget. Now, everything happens automatically. I don't need to do anything. It's completely passive, and all I need to do is just create content similar to this content that you can see here, and everything else happens completely passively. So that's the three main things that you need to know if you want to know how to become a blogger. That's content, traffic, and monetization. Basically, you produce the content as a blogger. People find you through Google or through some other means, but for me, it's mostly Google traffic. And each of the pages is monetized. There's other ways to monetize it as well. I'm gonna touch on them a little bit later on in this video. So how much money can you make per visitor? That's a very common question that I get asked. And in general, if you do a good job choosing a niche, which I'm also going to get to later on in this video, you can expect to make anywhere between sort of $15 to $40 RPM. Now, RPM stands for revenue per milliliter, which is revenue per 1,000 page views essentially. And if we convert it into per page view, that's approximately 1.5 cents to 4 US cents per visitor. So for every person that hits your page, generally, if you're using Google Ads or some of the other advertising networks, you can expect to make 1.5 to 4 US cents per visitor. That probably does not sound like a lot to you. You know, you get a person and you get 1 cent. That's not much, is it? But think about it this way. Your goal is to create a lot of these pages. A lot of my websites have hundreds of pages on them. And, you know, you build it up slowly over time, and at just 20 RPM, which is kind of like medium amount, you know, most niches can achieve it. Imagine you have a page that gets 50 visitors per day, okay, and that's equivalent to basically you making $1 per day on that, just from that one page, or that one page ends up making $365 per year. If another page makes 20 visitors, gets 20 visitors a day, you make 40 cents per day or $120 per year, completely passively. And some pages might make as much as 500 visitors per day. So that's $10 a day, and that is equivalent to $3,650 per year from just one website page. So your role as a blogger is to produce this content. I'm going to show you step by step how to do that later on in this video. But eventually you will end up with something that looks like this, where you've got all of these website pages out there that some just make you $1 a day, some make you 20 cents, some make you $5, some make you $10 a day. And that is the beauty of blogging. It's all completely passive and it all adds up as you put out more and more content. So I promised you a breakdown of what it takes to make $100 a day blogging. And here are a couple of assumptions and a couple of outcomes based on those assumptions. So if your niche is making 15 RPM, so $15 per 1,000 visitors, then you would need approximately 6,600 visitors per day. And if your niche is producing $40 RPM, you would need approximately 2,500 visitors per day. Now, once again, if you're new to blogging, then this might sound quite difficult. How am I going to get thousands of visitors per day, you might be asking yourself. However, it is absolutely doable. So step number one, if you want to know how to become a blogger, is to choose your niche. And choosing the niche is absolutely critical. A great niche can make a difference between making $5 a day and $500 a day. So let's go through step by step how to choose a great niche. When somebody asks me, how do I choose a niche for my blog? My answer usually is make sure that you go through and get the data and check how much other bloggers are earning in different niches, and then pick a niche because you know that that niche is already profitable, because you already know how much people are making in that niche. And one of the ways, and there are dozens of ways to get a good niche, but one of the ways that I'm going to show you in this video is to use Mediavine income reports. So if you Google Mediavine income reports and check out the income reports here, you will see a ton of links. In case you don't know what Mediavine is a company that provides a service that is similar to Google AdSense. They will also show ads on your blog. So basically, if you're a blogger, you can sign up with either Google AdSense or Mediavine, or there are other services such as Ezoic and AdThrive and several others to show ads on your site. Mediavine pays pretty good money, but the cool thing is that they actually officially allow the bloggers to disclose how much they're making with Mediavine. Some other companies have restrictions, like Google AdSense prohibits me showing you the exact stats of how much I'm making with Google AdSense. I can show you some data, but not everything. With Mediavine actually publishes income reports. So if you scroll down, you'll see, for example, here, Nikki's Plate January 2020 income report. And here is this website, Nikki's Plate. Here is Nikki, and she shares how much money she has made, how much traffic she has got to her blog. And if you scroll down, you'll see that here is her traffic. She's had 156,000 page views in January 2020, and she has made $2,726 from Mediavine. Now, if you divide one thing by another, So we can divide $2,726. We divide that by the amount of traffic that she's had, so 156096. And here we go. We can see that her revenue is 1.7 cents per visitor, 1.7 US cents per visitor. So if we multiply that by 1,000 to get the RPM figure, that's $17 RPM. So this is great data because it tells you exactly the profitability of this website. So you can now go in and you can check out what kind of content Nikki actually publishes. And you can see that she publishes content about food recipes, about home improvements, DIY, lifestyle. So if you go into the same niche and you publish similar content, then you can expect to make approximately similar revenue per 1,000 visitors. Now guys, Mediavine has got a ton of other income reports. So you'll see for 2019, there are lots of different income reports and they're in a lot of different niches. So you can see here, chic pursuits, clean eating, Savvy Couple, Wandering Souls, which is a travel income report. So basically you can go through and take a look at all of the different income reports, how much they're making, and you can choose your niche from one of these niches because you already know that this niche is profitable, that this niche pays well on Mediavine, so you're setting yourself up for success. Now, if you want other ways of how to find a great niche for your blog, then click the card. I'm going to put a card here in the corner, in the top right corner while you're watching, and that will show you how to find niches. So I've got a full video that's actually dedicated to finding a great profitable niche. So let's move on to step 2. Step 2 is once you've shortlisted a niche, is to check the competition for that niche just to make sure that you can actually compete with other websites that are already there. The tool that I recommend for you to use for all of your blogging needs is Ahrefs. I am not an affiliate of Ahrefs. I don't get paid if you sign up to Ahrefs. I only recommend it because it's an awesome tool. Nothing else on the market, in my opinion, comes even close to Ahrefs. It's not a cheap tool. As you can see, the cheapest subscription is $99. But guess what? You can get trial access for $7 and that gives you access to all the features for 7 days. So what I recommend for you to do when you are ready to go with Ahrefs is get this 7-day trial, concentrate, and in those 7 days, do all of your research. You can find topics for your blog, for 50 or 100 articles for your blog in those 7 days if you focus and if you follow my tutorial. And then if you really have to, if you don't have budget to keep the subscription, then cancel it after 7 days. And that at least will give you an opportunity to get top-notch data for just $7 that will last you for many weeks, even probably months, while you are establishing your blog. All right, so with this pricing issue out of the way, let's jump in and talk about how do you actually assess the competition of this niche. Okay, so I'm going to give you an example. Let's say that I am considering starting a website in the aquarium and fish keeping niche. Okay, so what we can do here is we can get into Ahrefs and start analyzing the competition just to make sure that I can compete successfully with other websites that are there already. The first thing to do is to type in some kind of a query that is related to your niche. The first thing you'll need to do is to type in some kind of a query that is related to your potential niche that you're considering. So for the aquarium niche, it could be something like how to start an aquarium. All right, now what you're looking here in the results is you want to find another website that is in your niche, that is completely dedicated to your niche. So you don't want to look at YouTube results. What you want is a result such as Marineland or Fish Keeping World. And ideally, you want to have a website that is dedicated 100% to your niche. So for example, petbarn.com.au is dedicated to a ton of different pets, whereas Fish Keeping World, I'm pretty certain, is dedicated purely to fish. So here we've got Fish Keeping World, we've got Live Aquaria, we've got aquariuminfo.org. So all of these websites seem completely dedicated to fish keeping, and we want to start analyzing them one by one. So let's open up Fish Keeping World and take a look at this website. We're going to be analyzing this website and we're going to potentially compete with this website. So the first thing that I like to do is to check who runs this website. I usually try to find the About Us page, and on this website is here at the bottom. There is a link I don't know if you can see it behind my face on the camera, but basically it's here. It says about us. And if we open this up and you read it, what you want to make sure is that it's not a large corporate website. Now, this website seems to be run by a couple of guys, and they seem to be sort of everyday bloggers. You know, it's not a large corporate entity that's invested millions of dollars into this blog. So for me, this is a tick. Okay, I want a website that is not a huge corporate website. So let's grab this domain and let's come back to Ahrefs and let's analyze it. Okay, so inside Ahrefs, let's go to Site Explorer. And this will allow us to enter the domain of the website that we want to analyze. Let's click search, and that will give us some awesome data about this website. So this website is ranking in Google for 140,000 different keywords. It is getting, according to Ahrefs' estimate, 259,000 visitors per month. Now guys, normally this is understated. Certainly in my experience, Ahrefs shows much lower volume of data than what it really is happening. So I wouldn't be surprised if fishkeepingworld.com gets, let's say, 600,000 visitors per month, maybe even 1 million visitors per month. That is definitely within the realms of the possibility. So it is absolutely possible that this website is getting 20, 30, even maybe 40,000 page views per day. So now let's click on organic keywords and actually have a look at what kind of keywords they're currently ranking for. So here are all of the keywords that Ahrefs thinks that this website is ranking for. And we want to find how many of these keywords are easy enough for a beginner blog like me to, if I start a brand new website today, what kind of keywords can I try to rank for and outrank and compete with the other pages that are there on page one. So let's use this KD filter, and that's KD stands for keyword difficulty. So we're going to set it to maximum 7. Anything less than 7 usually is a pretty easy keyword to rank for. And well, this is really good news. I've got 68,000 different keywords that I can write about. So, you know, I can write hundreds of articles on my website. And even while my website has got very low authority, I've got a really good chance of actually ranking on page 1 for it. So I recommend for you to take a look through this list, and you can see there are actually lots of keywords with keyword difficulty of 0, such as this one, ocean puns. Okay, 3,300 searches per month that people do on Google for this keyword. But if I open up this drop down button, I will see all the information about all of the websites that are currently ranking on page 1. And there are 2 things that I generally look at. One is this AR rank, and the higher it is, so 57 million, means that it's a very, very weak website. So the higher this number, the weaker the website. So a website such as 113 is pretty strong. You can see it's Etsy.com. Website number 9 is Pinterest.com. But anything with AR of more than 1 million is generally a pretty sort of weak website that we can outrank if we've got really good content. So I generally open up lots of these keywords, and I try to see that each of these keywords with keyword difficulty of like 0 or 1 has got lots of results where AR is 1 million or higher. So 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million. So this is a classic example: 57 million, 1.1 million, 4 million, 1.3 million, 4 million. This is really, really good results so far. So you should go through and try to make sure that basically the websites that are here that are ranking for all of these search terms, they are reasonably weak websites. So on this step, you don't need to go too in-depth. Just get a feel, make sure that there is lots of potential keywords for you to write about, and we will talk about, you know, the actual keyword research at a later stage. So step 3 is to register your domain. So once you've actually decided that this niche is good, and I like this niche and it's profitable, and there are lots of great keywords for me to write about, now it's time to go and register your domain. What is the domain? In case you're not sure, travelcrog.com is the domain. That's the actual address of your website on the internet. And it's always a good idea to have a good, memorable, reasonably short domain name, such as, you know, Travelcrog. I like Travelcrog because I can create a nice logo for it. To actually buy the domain name, you can use namecheap.com. simply get onto this website and type in the domain that you want to buy, and you can check whether it's available or not. To generate the name for your website, you can use a service such as impossibility.org. It gives you lots of different ways to generate names. So if it's about fish keeping, you can just say fish keeping, and then it says add adjectives to the beginning or end. So we can say to the end, add nouns. Okay, so let's say mixed anything to the end of my world fish keeping, and then click search, and that will bring up lots of domains that are available to you to register right now. So it actually checks that they are available to register. So here it'll say fish keeping land, fish keeping site, fish keeping music, etc. And you can just click get more until you find something that you're actually happy with. Just as a quick example, fishkeepinghouse.com is available. That's not a bad domain name. You can certainly get more. I just clicked this twice, but you can certainly get excellent domain names but just by playing around with these options and clicking get more until you find something that's really good. Step 4 is to get your hosting and to install WordPress onto your hosting account. For hosting, I use SiteGround. You can click the link in the description below if you want to check it out via my link. And SiteGround is a hosting company that I highly recommend. I use it for all of my websites. What does hosting do? Well, they host your domain. If, for example, you set up Travel Croc or Fish Keeping House, and they then show the information about your website to the rest of the world. So they are a service that it's like a computer, I guess, that is connected to the internet 24/7. You place all of your files there and they're served to the rest of the world whenever they want to access any of your information. I'm not going to focus too much on the actual technical setup of hosting in this video because I've already done it in several of my videos before. So just check the card in the here on the screen in the top right. There's a video there that will show you how to set up your website step by step on SiteGround. Okay, so once your website setup is complete and you've got the shell of a website there, you now need to start researching keywords so that you can move on to the next step and start publishing content. So let's talk a little bit about keyword research. For that, once again, I would recommend that you use Ahrefs. And the first keywords that I would recommend you go for are super easy keywords. So do this reverse engineering like we showed before, and we've found 68,000 different keywords just from one website. There's obviously other websites that we saw. Remember, we saw this liveaquaria.com and aquariuminfo.com. So even if you sort of start running out of the 68,000 keywords on fishkeepingworld.com, there are lots of other websites for you to reverse engineer. Basically what you want to do here, because you've got 68,000 keywords with keyword difficulty of less than 7, you can even amend this filter to say something like you want to show maximum 3. So that will leave you with extremely easy keywords for which it's very easy to rank. So you've got 46,000 different keywords. And now start going through them and try to figure out if you can produce this kind of content. So as an example here, this electric blue Akara, let's look at that. 4,100 searches a month, pretty good. Keyword difficulty 0, pretty good. Let's open SERPs. And you want to see at least 2 or 3 websites where AR is over 1 million. So here again, good news. We've got 8 million, 11 million, 1.1, 5.7, 7 million, 5 million, and 21 million. So page 1 of search results is looking extremely easy to beat. Now, in case you're wondering what is this AR, if you mouse over, it'll tell you. AR shows the strength of a website backlink profile compared to the others in our database, with rank number 1 being the strongest. So rank number 1 is the strongest, then number 2 is lower, and then lower and lower and lower. And all of these websites that have a ranking of like 8 million, 11 million means they're way down in the difficulty of all of the websites that are in the Ahrefs rank. So in essence, it means that these websites are kind of newish, and your website is going to be quite new as well. So that way you will actually be able to compete with them for these keywords. So I recommend to work in batches and make a short list of the next 5 articles that you're going to write. Based on here, just go in and have a look at some of the results on Google for these articles and make sure that you can write one. Create a list of 5 keywords that you're going to go for. After you've chosen your 5 keywords that you're going to produce content about, now's the time to get cracking with the actual content. So let's say I wanted to write an article about types of plecos. No idea what those are, by the way, but this is what I would do. I would open up this search in Google. All right, so here we go. I'm looking at the search results for types of plecos, and then I would read and learn from the top 10 results. So I would basically read each of these articles, and I would learn as much as I can about the different types of plecos, and then I would create my own content on my website that ideally is better than everything else that is currently here on page 1. So let's take a look at this first one, 10 most common types of plecos. So I'm gonna open this up and then take a look at these types of plecos. Okay, just gonna read everything and learn about it. Then I'm gonna do the same with, for example, Pet Helpful or this TFT magazine, and learn as much as I can about it so that I can then go back to my website and write an article that is at least as good as all of the other articles currently on page 1, or ideally better. You want to make it more complete. So maybe if it says 10 most common types of plecos, maybe you want to write an article about 21 most common types of plecos. All right, so now you might be wondering, well, will your content actually rank in Google search or not? Here is a simplistic sort of way of looking into this. So when you launch your website, if it's a brand new website, your AR rank will be something like 75 million or even worse, maybe 80 million, 90 million. So how do you actually outrank the websites that are currently there on page 1 that have got AR rank of 5 million or 2 million or 3 million? Well, it's simple. The answer is in longer content. So right now, let's say this article here that's ranking on a very weak website, when you open it up, maybe it's got 1,500 words. You need to write a guide that is much more in depth, maybe something like 2,500 words or 3,000 words, and then you will have a really, really good chance of actually outranking the other results that are there on page 1. If you're paying attention, then you will probably notice that some of the results here are from Pinterest, pinterest.com. So result number 9 and number 10 are not even blogs. That's just social media results. And guys, these are super easy to outrank because they've got zero text. And Google likes to show rich text that has a lot of content that would much rather show your website with 2,000 words in your article than Pinterest.com results, because a blog with 2,000 words is a much higher quality resource to show to people than some Pinterest images. So this is exactly how you're ensuring that your content ends up ranking. All right, let's talk about step 7, which is monetization. So to monetize, there are 3 very simple options. When you first start out, I recommend to start out with AdSense auto ads. And to do that, you simply need to Google AdSense and apply to be accepted by AdSense into their program. They're very newbie friendly, and with AdSense, you generally don't have any minimum traffic requirements. You just need to have a well-made website with all of the relevant pages, such as privacy page and policy page, etc. You can Google what the AdSense requirements are for those things. You need to make sure that you're compliant with all the relevant laws and legislation. And then you can apply to AdSense what's called auto ads. So auto ads just means that you insert a tiny bit of code into your website, and the ads will be shown automatically. They will be sized automatically, so you don't actually have to manually insert the ads into each of your posts. AdSense payout is generally quite good. I run several of my websites on AdSense. I'm really happy with their payouts. However, after you start hitting 25,000 monthly visitors, you should look at moving to other networks such as Mediavine. Mediavine have a minimum requirement of 25,000 monthly visitors. After you hit over 100,000 monthly visitors, then it's a good idea to also test AdThrive. AdThrive is another network, and in many niches their payout is actually higher than Mediavine or than AdSense. So you've got several options to go with as your blog grows. Now, step number 8 is scaling. So my blogs are currently fully outsourced, which means I don't write the content myself because I know roughly what I'm going to make per post. And it costs me between $40 to $60 to outsource each of the posts on my blogs. Usually I make that money back in 3 to 6 months, generally under 6 months. And after that, each of the posts is essentially bringing me pure profit. When I first started out, I was writing all the content myself, so that's absolutely fine. But once you start making some income and you want to scale and you want to grow your blog faster, absolutely need to look into outsourcing. It's not very expensive if you do this correctly, and it can pay back. Of course, no guarantees, but in general, the investment can pay for itself back within a few months. All right, so what next? Okay, so it takes 3 to 6 months to actually start getting some results. The worst thing that you can do is start a blog, do it for a month, and then stop. Because a lot of people have done it. I think 90% of people that attempt blogging, they see very little results after a few months and they stop. And guess what? If we go back to this image that I showed you before, I started this blog in April 2019. Imagine if in July 2019 I said, look, I've been doing this for 3 months. I'm still only getting something like 100 visitors a day. I'm only making a couple of bucks a day. This is almost nothing and it's just not worth my time. And then I stopped the blog. Can you believe that? Can you imagine what would have happened? I mean, I've done this for a long time, so I know that it takes time to build up authority in Google's eyes. And then look at this growth. Slowly, I'm now getting thousands of page views every single day. This is exactly what happens. It takes Google some time to start trusting your blog. You need to put out dozens of posts out there and consistently post. And then Google will learn over time that your website produces high quality content, and they will start ranking your content in search results. And then they will check, are the people actually reading your content? How much time do they spend on your page? And if all of the metrics are good, then more and more of your pages will start getting included onto page 1 of Google search results. So after about 3 to 6 months, you end up hitting this kind of snowball effect where your traffic just grows faster and faster. So how do you actually set up the blog step by step? I'm going to put in a bunch of links to free videos on my channel that take you through every single technical step that you can follow along and set up your blog. If you want direct help from me in a Facebook group, then check out one of the links in the description below. There's currently a 35% discount off my blogging course. You can use coupon code YouTube to get that 35% off on the purchase. Thanks again for watching. My name is Kononenko. You might also know me as the Caffeinated Blogger. Subscribe to my YouTube channel just below. Click that bell notification icon as well. Very important. So that you can get an instant update as soon as I upload my next video. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.